Well, unfortunately, not very encouraging messages. Usually, and it's not just Hollywood film, it actually extends to independent films and international films. Aging is either something to be avoided by looking younger than you actually do, or staying active in a way that's not necessarily realistic even for those of us who may not yet be considered old. Or else aging is depicted as something that necessarily means becoming sick, becoming disabled, and needing some form of care, which then becomes a financial or an economic problem for the people who need to provide care. So there isn't really a set of movies yet that shows living life as an older person just in an everyday way. I think the emotional conflict that I find most interesting at the moment has to do with guilt. And so the idea is there's a conflict between the generations, an older generation that needs care, and then this middle generation that has to make the decisions for care. So that pamphlets and videos advertising the nursing homes are really not geared to the people who are going to live there, but the people who are going to put their parents there and feel guilty about it. So I think that aspect of guilt is quite an interesting part of growing older. And then the other thing, which is behind the negative depictions that I was talking about before, is just a general fear that growing old is something we should be afraid of rather than something that we might be excited about or interested in at least. I think that youth is often depicted as a set of promise, that there's the idea that you're still going to have romance, that maybe, I mean, nowadays the promise of a career is not the same for youth as it was even 10, 15, 20 years ago, but there still is this idea that people are going to follow certain steps in their life. They're going to be born, they're going to have a fun childhood, they're going to meet the love of their life, probably get married, maybe have children, have a successful career, and then that's when Hollywood stops being interested in them. So that there's a whole expectation and normative set of things that you might do when you're younger that disappears for older characters. There certainly are, yes, and I think that the two actors I would draw attention to are Jack Nicholson and Clint Eastwood, who get to still play the same kind of roles in their later life with a little bit of humor about how they're slowing down physically, but they still get to be, in Clint Eastwood's case, the kind of cowboy vigilante. Even in Gran Torino, he's still playing that role. Or Jack Nicholson, who's just, his girlfriend-wife type characters stay the same age as he grows older, and he gets to be adventurous and so on. Whereas older women often disappear even from the screen. It's much harder for them to find roles, and they start having to play characters much older than themselves, even as young as in their 40s. This kind of thing happens.